Hello, crafty friends. This is Amy, and welcome to my channel. We're going to make a cute little pumpkin using this Bundt pan. I got it at a thrift store, so it's used and it was very cheap. And so I've seen these before and I wanted to paint it up and make it really cute. So I'm using that acrylic paint that you could see. And I noticed that it's kind of thin, so I definitely knew I was going to need to do 2 or 3 coats. So once everything was dry, then I wanted to grunge it up. So I got some of the brown paint, and those paint colors I'll put in the description box so you can see exactly what I used if you like the colors. And when I first started putting it on, I just did it dry, and that just did not work. I didn't like how dark it was. And so all I did was put some on the paper towel and add a little water, and voila, it was much better. And as I kind of went through it, putting that on, you let it dry, kind of get it into the creases and the crevices, and then just wipe it off, and it looked really nice and dirty, nice and grungy. Now I want to put some black little dots on there, like put a spatter on there. So it's just black paint with some water and then just tapping it on the paintbrush, and that works perfectly nice as long as you have, everything covered around it because it can get on your other surfaces. All right, we got that done. Let that dry. I noticed that I was already having some spots come up, little paint areas, and I thought, gosh, I'm gonna have to seal this up. So I put some Mod Podge and sealed that right up. And now this is the point where some people will put a little bit of foam, like the floral foam, right in the middle, and you could poke that in there. You could put in a pumpkin stem of some sort if you had a piece of wood or a stick or something. I just wanted to use these little floral picks. They were already done up, and I just thought this is going to be really easy, and we'll pop that in. And instead of the using the a stick or something for a stem, I decided to put a cute little critter on here and glue him in there. And that is how easy it is to decorate one of these. Pretty fun and easy, isn't it? I've seen them where they'll put them on a cute little cake stand and kind of elevate it. I didn't have a cake stand, but boy, when I get one, I will definitely pop this one on there. I thought that'd be really cute. Well, let's keep going. We got more fun stuff. DIY number 2. Okay, this is where I wanted to make. I had some rub-ons, and I'll show those, but I didn't have any wood that would kind of fit the size of the rub-on, and so all I'm doing is taking some of this. It's kind of a thin cardboard. I'm going to cut it into like strips and going to glue these all together to make it kind of into like a faux piece of wood. And then I can use that rub on right onto this. And so this is kind of how I'm layering it. Um, if you were to do something like this, you would, use it however you want to. If your cardboard's thicker, you may not need as many layers. I'm just using a scrap piece and make it as thick as you want. And then once you get it to that thickness, I'll show you what I did at the end. Okay, this is what I was going to show you on what I ended up doing when I got all the thicknesses where I wanted it. I ended up wrapping it. And now with just any other cardboard that may not work, it may not be thin enough. This one was thin enough, and I just kind of wanted to wrap it to give it like a nice clean edge. This is one way to use up some of your extra pieces, upcycling, and if you don't like it anymore, you just toss it. No money out really. The only cost would be your rub on, of course, a little glue. Okay, so I'm looking at it, and I'm liking this. It fits where the rub on that I wanted. And I'm just trying to make sure everything's nice and tight and maybe trying to square up those ends a little bit. So I just wanted to put a little white on there to, just give it a little color, but I didn't want it solid. And so just kind of rubbing that right on there over the top and allowing that cardboard look to shine through. And that dried really quick and easy, nice and fast. And then I was able to get my rub-ons out. Now, aren't these just as cute as can be? All kinds of pretty little things on that one. All right, now you can see what I mean. It was pretty small. It's thin or whatever, and I just love the font. So simply just rub it on. And with rub-ons, if there's a little bit that is not down, that didn't come off the backing of the paper, you just lay it right back down before you pull it all off and just go over and it'll come off. That's the beauty of it. If you don't pull it all the way off right away, you can just lay it right back down and get that to come off. Just adding in a couple of little colorful pieces, and there it is. Isn't that a pretty saying? And I don't know, would you think that this is cardboard? It's just kind of a fun way to upcycle and use what you have. Well, let's keep going. We've got another DIY. All right, so here is my green, and like I said, I'll list these colors. If you really like them, I'll list them. And this one, I think I just did the one coat. I kind of liked how it kind of shined through the green. And now I'm just using some fabric scraps. They'll come cut like this and getting that rub on. I wanted to see how well this technique works with putting a rub on onto fabric. And I had some ideas on how I wanted to do this. And so you can see I'm using a little bit of this and that out of these images. And so I get this one down. And then I wanted the writing to go right over the image. So I'm going, is it going to work? And it's like, yeah, this is actually working pretty good. Cute. But I want a little more on there. So then I use the words and I just put it kind of right over the image. And that worked out fine too, to just kind of overlap that. And then just pulling that away and making sure all the lettering got down. Nice. And so now I want to put it on that little piece of wood that I painted green. It looks like I'm going to grunge up that board before I put it down. So again, just going to get some paint and just kind of put it on, let it dry a little bit, take it off. You could sand, whatever you think you want to do to make it look a little more used or worn and grungy. And I was pretty happy with that. So now I want to make it a smaller size. So all I did is I just kind of snipped it a little bit and then I was able to just tear it. To me, it'd be, it looks a little nicer if you can just allow it to tear along, the part of the fabric and just tear it in the right spot. Wasn't hard to do. And this Mod Podge worked great for adhering that down to that block. And I just put it on the back side of this piece of fabric. And I used my finger. I kind of wanted to just make sure it got rubbed into the fabric. And then I just took the heel of my hand and I just kind of pressed that down. And once I got everything straightened, and it stuck really nice. And that is how easy that can be. Can you imagine the cute things you can make with this, doing this technique? Oh, I just can't imagine. There's so many ideas. Isn't that just fun? We got more fun stuff here. DIY number 4. All right, I have a napkin, and then this is from Dollar Tree. It is one of the little canvases, but it's covered with burlap. And so every once in a while, I get a urge to kind of do this with my, taking a napkin and kind of embedding it into that burlap. But make sure you always get your napkins down to the very first layer. And this one was a unique napkin where it was only on the one corner. This napkin on the back side, the package, it said Mudpie. And I love some of that Mudpie decor. I think it's so pretty. So I kind of just kept it in place and then just started by applying it. And it is burlap, so it's going to kind of go through the back a little bit, but I just basically saturated that burlap so then it would adhere, and I kind of wanted to mesh it together so it's kind of embedded into it. And once I had half of that done, I did the other side. All right, so I've got everything done here on the one side, and I just needed to trim a little bit, kind of cleaned up a little bit on the back of the burlap. Now, if you wanted to, you could put something over the front with your Mod Podge, but I didn't do it with this one. Now, I've also picked up these little scrap that's in Hobby Lobby, I believe it was, and they kind of have just a bunch of ribbons, and it was kind of fun to pick that up because it's probably not something I'd have all of these different colors. I've noticed that they had one for Halloween now too, and I don't really make Halloween decor, but that would be really handy if you were a person that did. And when they do come out with a Christmas one, I think I'll be snagging that one up. Just going to trim my edges. All right, and so now just going to glue that on. Got these little brass leaves, and they are so helpful. Look at that, easy peasy again, not hard to do. And that pretty napkin, I love it. Well, we got a couple more DIYs here. DIY number 5. Now, this is a round wooden piece that I found at Dollar Tree. It is super thin, but I thought that's okay. It's $1.25. So what do you expect to get, right? I wanted to show you this technique that I like to do now and then, and I'm going to take these stickers and put them down, and then I will paint over the top, and then I will remove the stickers, and you'll see that black behind it. Now, with this one, I'll kind of show you so you don't have the problems that I did, and walk you through a better way. But this is the correct technique. So I'm just using that little piece of plastic as a guide, and I'm just going to get those on there. When I'm happy with it, press them down pretty firmly. And then I put the pumpkin in there, the word pumpkin, same thing. And now I'm going to get out my paints and I'm going to paint. Now this is where I think I kind of made the whoops is I put the paint too heavy on the Hello Pumpkin because it seeped a little bit. I guess I would suggest perhaps if you had something you could maybe tap it down with rather than pulling in the brush stroke, do it like you would when we used to do the stencils. You could just tap it or make a circular motion without pressing too hard. So you'll see when I peel off those letters that it's going to be where it seeped underneath. And so that's something I just need to remember. You get excited about doing something and you just go to town and put it on there and I did mess that up. But when you can fix things too. So when you look at when I finished it, it looks fine. So, but yeah, I just put a little too heavy on there. Now, my intention with these lines was to kind of make it look like wood. So there's like three pieces of wood together. Now here I am pulling off those pieces, and these are looking pretty good. But some of them have a little bit where you can see the white has kind of came through. Yeah, see where like the M and the N, the top of the big E, the pumpkin, the P. You can go over it with paint, or you could do a marker. I think I did both. Right here, I am just putting in, trying to line in a pumpkin because I wanted to paint my own pumpkins on here. Now, since this little pumpkin is going to be behind, we're going to put him down first and just kind of go over it. And if you want to kind of know about painting a nice pumpkin rather than a circle, because it looks like I'm doing a circle here, but you're going to have a little bit of so you're going to do a oval. Think of ovals. See how I'm kind of going over it now, making these ovals. So it kind of gives it a bottom to it. And then when that's all dry, I'm going to put some paint on there and it'll be more evident where I've kind of done those ovals. And just putting in a second coat of that orange. All right, here I am. I'm going to make those ovals more evident and give it some dimension. And it's just kind of like a yellowy color. You could use a darker brown. I just wanted it somewhat of a subtle look. And in the end, I did kind of go with a black too, just to kind of give it a little more pop. It was so fun to make this. All right, then I needed to do something with making somewhat of a stem. They can be green, they can be brown, yellowish. These are going to be green, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of brown in it. And then just kind of pull it down into the pumpkin a little bit so it looks a little more realistic. Tapping on a little bit of green and then going to add in some brown. And then I decided to get my little liner out and just try and attempt to make some of these little trendles or tendrils or whatever they call them. Um, just needed a few. Just fun to experiment and, make this stuff. And at this point, I'm debating whether I wanted to, put ribbon on it, what to do. I did get my little black marker out and just kind of went over it a little bit. That added to it. I'm glad I did it. I like how it turned out with just adding a little bit of mark along there. And at the end, you'll see, close up how it turned out. And you don't want it like solid, it's just kind of a little bit of a added feature there, if you want to say it that way. I went around the edge. And then this did come with a little hanger. I lost it. I don't know where it went, but I did have this came from that little spot that little bunch of the ribbons I had and just used that. And I did decide to go with like a buffalo check ribbon and just made a little bow and popped that right on there. That's it. What do you think? Kind of cute, huh? And it's light, which is probably a good thing if you're going to put it on your door so it's not banging around. You can see how easy it is to do these. You can do this. Be so much fun to make this. Well, I have one more fun DIY for you, and this one ended up being my very favorite, and it's super easy. Okay, I found these little bunches of they're miniature apples. They're not like a big apple. And so I got these at Michael's. And so all you're going to do is take off as many as you want, take out that little plastic stem. And then these are little stirring sticks from like coffee stirs. If you had the full size apple, maybe use like a popsicle stick. But these, I just went with these coffee stirs. And I needed my scissors to kind of make a little hole in there so they'd fit because it wasn't strong enough to, to really pop it in there. Now put all those sticks in there so you've got your apples ready. And then you take the color that you want to put on your apple, which this one looked like caramel to me. And then you're going to use Mod Podge and your paint. I would say, use maybe 75% Mod Podge, 25% paint. And then see how I'm just kind of dipping it in there. Dip it as far in as you like. And then just set it on. I would suggest some kind of paper that wouldn't stick. Like I use these. First, I did the paper plates. Then I transferred it over to like what's underneath there is that cardboard. And it did kind of stick on the bottom, but it really doesn't matter. I'm not sure if wax paper would be better. That might be a better suggestion. Now, some people will put like faux nuts on the bottom. I didn't really want to invest in anything like that, so I decided to keep the faux nuts off and just put little ribbons on there. Are these not the cutest? Those would look so cute in a tiered tray, a little shelf setter just to add to it. Just tell people they can't eat them. I just love how they turned out. I want to thank you for joining me. I have been having so much fun crafting again, and we will see you soon on my next video. Please like and subscribe. Bye, my friends.